All right, so this is a suggestion via a channel member. The name of the video is Vivek Ramaswamy calls out New York City bombshell. This is nuts. All right, let's check it out. Let's see where this goes.
We are now getting a fresh new glimpse at the massive amount of cash sanctuary cities have soaked up on people who are not American citizens.
Okay.
Both Denver and New York City are spending hundreds of millions of U.S. taxpayer dollars. So the citizens are paying all that money for people who are not citizens. And
when it comes to Denver, Denver specifically basically said, give us all the migrants. So I don't feel bad for Denver. I mean, I get it. If you live in Denver and you're experiencing it, I feel bad for you. I would say vote the nonsense out of City Hall, guys. You get what I mean? And the governor's castle, whatever it's called, guys. You get what I'm saying here? But for the most part, Denver says, give us all your migrants.
So the citizens are paying all that money for people who are not citizens. And you won't believe where some of the money is going. New York City effectively paid $220 million to Pakistan in order to rent the Roosevelt Hotel as a full-time shelter for people who were not citizens. Many of them came across our border illegally, but they're here. Vivek Ramaswamy is going after this with this quote. A taxpayer-funded hotel for illegal immigrants is owned by the Pakistani government, which means NYC taxpayers are effectively paying a foreign government to house illegals in our own country. This is nuts.
Yeah, guys, I just had to research that because it sounded crazy. But yeah, apparently, yeah. Pakistani International Airlines owns the Roosevelt. Pakistan International Airlines owns the Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan. Oh, my God.
Now, let's just go on over to the sanctuary city of Denver. According to one nonpartisan research report, the city has spent more than $356 million on its migrant response since December of 2022. That comes out to nearly $8,000 per migrant and 8% of the city's total budget. Now,
guys, keep that in mind. The average American does not make $8,000 a month, so that's intriguing.
Dollars per migrant and 8% of the city's total budget. Now, that word migrant is not synonymous with illegal immigrant. And when you look at the percentages of people who came here either illegally or really do need to leave for crimes they're still committing, that's a big chunk. 356 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot of money. There's a formula here, and let's put it very simply. You are an American citizen. You go to your job. You work 9 to 5. Maybe you work 2 jobs. Maybe you work more than 40 hours a week.
Most people are working 2 jobs.
You hand over this lump sum of cash to the federal government. If you're in a blue state like here in New York, you hand it over to the state government and to the city government. Mm-hmm. And then how confounding is it to you that you learn your money went to a foreign country to house foreigners who are illegal immigrants who came in illegally? Oh, wait, but there's more. The cherry on top of all of this, and it's not a cherry, it's a huge, huge problem. Laken Riley murder suspect received taxpayer-funded stay at Roosevelt Hotel. So you funded Jose Ibarra, a murderer, to stay in a luxury hotel before a 22-year-old in Georgia who should still be with us here today. That's how it worked.
And we know post that trial just a couple of weeks ago that he and his brother were members of that Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua. So if you want to hook up with your homies from south of the border who want to people run cartel drugs, do all the thing, I guess you go to the hotel that Pakistan owns at the Roosevelt and then have American taxpayers pay for your stay.
Okay, here's the thing. Who owns the hotel doesn't really matter that much to me because we allow foreign investors to come and buy things the same as other countries, the same, right? Most likely the Roosevelt Hotel was chosen because it was probably close to something and it just so happened to be owned by they're calling it the PIA, right? That's not the issue here, I would say. The issue still is that is what this person here said. I have no idea what her name is, right? What she said is incredibly accurate. Like, imagine you're going to work, okay? And then you're putting money into your city thinking that it's going to be for something, obviously, that is going to benefit your city. But in fact, it benefits people who are basically here committing asylum fraud. I get it. That's the actual story, guys, what she said here. That's the actual bit of, this that is terrible, guys. Right? This is just pure emotion, what she said.
What else is crazy, too? A big chunk of federal money was handed out by the Biden administration to a lot of states. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons earlier this year you started seeing states on the jobs reports doing better than expected. Like, oh, the jobs reports were great, you know. All that money was designed to be spent specifically for things like, to fatten up the jobs report or these sort of programs. But think about that tweet that Vivek retweeted, that X post. In conjunction with the International Monetary Fund, a $1.1 billion loan to Pakistan. Wait a minute. We're putting Americans at risk to put money into the pockets of the International Monetary Fund, which, by the way, lends money to these third world nations at rates that the mafia would blush at, right? I mean, you talk about the establishment, the international cartel of establishment holding everyone back and manipulating everything. This is nuts that your taxpayer money is going through all of these sort of things to deceive us and put us in harm at the same time. It's crazy.
Right. I mean, things that definitely do not matter to the overwhelming majority of Americans, right? Like if our tax dollars went to things that would benefit all of us, I think many people would be like, you know what, that's great. But the problem is that if we have so much extra money, okay, to give to other countries, et cetera, then that means we're giving too much money to the government.
Told you he was leaning in.
I think you.
International Monetary Fund.
IMF. And I'm so glad you brought that up, Charles, because that blew me away when I saw this initial report this morning that it was the IMF that's obviously loaning money to Pakistan. And then and by the way, it's the Pakistani airlines that owns the Roosevelt Hotel
PIA.
and then lease it back to the city of New York, who gets federal funding. But then also remember state and local taxpayers. To your point, Kaylee, they're the ones that are funding all of this.
That seems so dirty.
It is. It's just a complete misuse of funding, and it just goes in a big fat circle. And this is why when Eric Adams was saying it's going to be $10 billion, and he was asking Biden for billions, before he got indicted, by the way, that the Biden administration was scoffing. I don't know if that was politics or if that was just the fact that these estimates for what this was going to cost the city were completely out of control. One of the things that's happening to our local economy really quick, this year you've got all these tourists, here for the holidays, right, in New York City. Hotel prices are at new records,
through the roof.
7% higher than last year. So who is going to end up funding all of this? Tourists.
Yeah.
People coming to experience Christmas in New York.
They're soaking them so that they have cash left over to give it to people who came here illegally and want to sleep there.
The thing is,
Okay, that's a little wild. All right, so I'm from New York, guys. I'm telling you this right now. Even before this whole incident was happening, if you go to New York City during any holiday, even before this happened, guess what happens? The prices go up. Supply and demand. I see she's trying to correlate things to exclusively the migrant crisis and things like that. But again, I'm gonna go ahead and void out her statements. She's definitely delivering the greatness. He also, partially here, this was almost pure emotion. I'm just going to go ahead and rate them based off of logic versus just, I want to make you fear people type of energy. And she definitely has that energy. Let's see what she says.
To us, but not to the left. And that's what's so crazy about this. And you follow their line of thinking in all of this. I mean, look at after the trial of Laken Riley, what did a media headline read? Laken Riley never stood a chance. Not Laken Riley, the innocent person in this, but the illegal immigrant who came into our country who shouldn't be in the first place. Somehow he's the victim in this. Or you look at the interview between ABC's Martha Raddatz and J.D. Vance when she said, well, it's only a handful of apartment complexes that Trey Uraga has taken over in Aurora, Colorado. And his response was, Martha, do you
That's
hear
too
yourself?
much,
Do you
though.
realize how crazy this sounds? Or the fact that under the Biden administration, we've had hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens here, convicted criminals or facing charges that they have allowed to step foot in America. So, it should be nuts, but it's not to the left. And they have this twisted mentality where somehow they are putting, illegal aliens ahead of American citizens. We go last according to them.
That's
so that
valid.
number that you just were talking about, all of those who've come from other countries and they broke into our country, so they broke our law, but they had committed other crimes before. So just a few weeks ago, that number was 425,000. Today, we had it on the Faulkner Focus, and I said, hey, has that number moved? Yeah, it's over 435,000. You mean you found 10,000 more and they're still here?
Well, and how many more
Why can't you get rid of these people?
And how many are going to flood to sanctuary cities between now and January 20th?
yeah.
49 days.
A lot.
Hey, everyone.
Guys, I want to go ahead and actually listen to what what this woman just said again, guys. Just so I can kind of grasp it.
illegal aliens ahead of American citizens. You know, we go last according to them.
So that number that you just were talking about, all of those who've come from other countries and they broke into our country, so they broke our law, but they had committed other crimes before.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Okay, so here's the thing. In my head, yes, the individuals that have come through the border, in fact, have trespassed on the United States of America, in the United States of America, so they are, in fact, illegal by that definition. But I'm actually not sure if that's actually true, okay? So what I would say is this here. I think that they, almost by definition, become illegal once they have come through the border and completely skipped the court case that's going to kick them out because they're not actually here, technically for asylum. I think the first stage of asylum 100% needs to be strengthened. And the only way we can actually do that is by allowing Congress to do that. Congress needs to redefine what exactly asylum is, because a lot of these individuals that are coming in, they're claiming asylum. They're not illegal by that definition. But they 100% become illegal when they decide to basically skip the trial, because they know they're not here for any like asylum related instances, guys. Right? I think it's just it's an interesting use of words, at least. But I am in the camp of, in my head, thinking at least that if you come into the United States of America, you have trespassed, and that makes you, by definition, a criminal because you trespassed. I just don't know how strong that would hold up to being scrutinized in a serious level. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. This is my lightsaber. Hey guys, you guys subscribe to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Oh, also, Mr. L. Boyd Discusses. Guys, check it out. And if you haven't heard it today, you're amazing.